Well, hello there, everybody. I'm Photo Dave. This is Toypixx, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about Valaverse. Because here's what happened. This weekend, I was a little under the weather. I had what many call the sniffles, and I decided the way to take care of the sniffles was to sit on the couch, sip green tea, and watch YouTube. The kind of weekend that removes hair from your chest. But during that YouTube viewing, I found Valaverse, and I thought, I'm going to check this out, because up to this point, I've kind of just observed Action Force. I've seen it from afar. I've liked what all they've had to show, but still, I'm like, I just don't know enough. I'm going to just observe. Let's see what happens this weekend. So, in this next part of the video, I'm just going to show you what happened this weekend as far as announcements were concerned, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it after all that. So, let's get to it. Don't forget that if you go to Entertainment Earth and use code TOYPIXX, you'll save 10% off all in-stock items, and if you spend $59 or more, you'll get free domestic shipping. But if you're not looking for in-stock and you're trying to pre-order, make sure that in checkout you use code FREESHIP59 if you're spending $59 or more, also for free domestic shipping. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the video. Okay, the first thing that was shown were the female versions of the Desert and Riot Troopers. These are figures that are going to be new for the spring. The next thing was just kind of showing off what all they come with. And then we've got some gear packs for all the ladies. And then he introduced a new character called Gemini and went into how someone that he was talking to, hoping to get that person licensed, wasn't able to be licensed just because of a previous deal that she had signed, but didn't rule out the possibility that she'd be in the line later on. We've got here everything that Gemini comes with. Looks pretty standard for Action Force. Then he talked about the upgrade gear packs for some of the previously released female figures, and what we've got here is a yelling head for Eclipse. And then showing off all this, these are new guns for Eclipse. She's got the mags, she's got the weapon blast, oh my gosh, the flash, geez, me and words. And then the smoke effects, I believe the vest is actually first from Pandora, it's recolored for Eclipse here, but there you go. There's the yelling face. He did say he wanted to start making figures with more emotive faces because he said they're not all stoic all the time. They're in battle. They need to be yelling and barking orders, probably getting a little ticked off and shooting at people. So that's what we've got here with Eclipse. Then we've got the similar kind of thing for Killswitch, which is pretty cool. She also has new guns for her. Killswitch comes with a whole lot of stuff that she didn't come with before. And then he talked a little bit about Pandora, teasing an image here. And same type of deal. She also gets a gear pack with a whole lot of stuff that she didn't come with before. The vest this time for her is the vest that was used on Killswitch and Eclipse, just with a different paint job. Then she's got machete, she's got mag flash. That's what that is. Words. I can get there eventually. She's got a saw, pistols, crazy knife, crazy machete, smoke effects, all this stuff that helps make your figures feel complete. Showing off the graphic, I might have gotten these things out of order. And then there's a bloody variant that's 1 in 3 figures. So you could order 3 Pandora gear packs and hopefully get the bloody variant if you have the bloody Pandora. And then he starts talking about just the actual weapons packs that are also coming, I believe he said, in the spring. This is Echo, Foxtrot, and Golf. Here is Echo. Not even going to try to come up with the names of all these. I know some about guns, but not enough to not make myself sound like an idiot if I started naming these off. This is just stuff that really adds to a lot of figures, and I dig it, which is editorializing, my bad. And now we have Foxtrot. More guns, more mag flashes, and then we've got a huge minigun going on, along with more blast effects, more smoke. And then he goes into one of the exclusives for Joe Fest, and we have basically Eclipse on the Warpath. Love the photo here. Very good. Let's see. And then this is all the stuff that Eclipse will come with, which is every head he's made. You've got the yelling head there. You've got the regular head. You've got the one covered. Then she's got all the gear. He did talk about how he found a Russian artist to do that painting of Eclipse that you see there. And I think that's really cool. If he were able to sell that as a print, that might be something that would be pretty nice to grab. We jump there into the Special Deployment series. So we have the mission files, issues 1 through 8 trade paperback. So like a graphic novel, an omnibus, something like that. That's coming in the summer. And then we get into the reissues. We have Bone Collector here. I know that there were problems with the vests on that first wave, and it sounds like all those tolerances and everything else have been adjusted and fixed for these reissues. Next reissue is Kirak, which I just like the helmet, and I believe he's the main villain of Action Force. Then you've got Condor as a reissue, and Condor is kind of the leader of the good guys, the field leader, as we'll learn a little later. And then he showed off the Desert Warfare Republic Guard. And then you'll have the gear pack. And then, just like they did with Eclipse and Killswitch and Pandora, they're starting to add more emotive faces to some of the guys. So here's an angry Condor head and an angry Trigger head. These are all renders, obviously. And then he talked about new characters. This is Buddha, who I believe he said will be the first Japanese character in the line. This is Atlas, who we'll find out a little more about later. This is Sidewinder, whom he said is the first Mexican character in the line. And this is Hyun. Oh man, I should have paid attention to how he pronounced this name. I'm a terrible person. But she is the first Korean character in the line. Arctic Balaclava. I guess a lot of people have been asking about Arctic stuff, so he's answering the call. And a gas mask that he put together where he said you'll be able to see through the goggles, so you'll see the face of the character that the gas mask goes on. And then he teased that there would likely be a PowerCon exclusive, because Valaverse will be at PowerCon. And then he showed off a Desert Condor here with the angry head that we saw earlier. This Desert Condor is apparently from before the time of the story of Action Force. This is kind of a prequel Condor. And then they prepared to show off another exclusive for Joe Fest, and that is this 5 points of articulation Desert Rat that Stan Solo helped out with. This is a figure that apparently looks just like he would have if he'd been made when this line was being made back in, it was the 70s or early 80s, somewhere around that time frame. I believe the first Desert Rat in this scale came out in 82, if I'm remembering correctly. And now, we're talking ghillie suit, which this is supposedly the first ghillie suit that's been made for any 1/12 scale figure, and I guess a lot of people were asking about this. So, again, he listened, and he answered the call. And now we get into more bodies that have been created for the line. I'm just going to kind of stay on these for a minute so you can check them out. They're just, basically, I think what he's doing is saying, hey guys, we're not going to have a Marvel Legends Bucky cap situation here. So we've just got a brand new body. He said all these bodies are totally new from the ground up. We've got this one here. Then we've got this one. This guy's this is Atlas. I said we'd learn more about Atlas later on. He's going to be on a bigger body that they made for Action Force, and showing here kind of the difference in the sizing between Atlas and your normal Action Force characters. And then they got into Colonel Siege, and Colonel Siege is actually the leader of Action Force, whereas Condor is the field commander. Colonel Siege is the guy that puts everything together, comes up with the things. If you compare it to G.I. Joe, Colonel Siege is basically General Hawk from the sounds of it. Now, he did say that because of a lot of belt design that he's noticed with other figures, when you bend their legs up at the thigh joint or the hip joint, you kind of get a crease, a little bit of a wrinkle in the holsters. Here, these were designed so they'll move with the leg as it articulates. So you can kind of see there on the lower right how you've got those posts coming out of the holsters, and you can see those will just spin inside the belt as you articulate the leg. He also comes with a cigar. You don't see that much coming out of other companies. And then he has several updates about the Vanguard, which is the vehicle that they'll be doing. He showed off some, I believe he said this was an early render, so he wanted to show, though, with this, that it will hold 6 figures. And then here he was showing kind of the different attachments that can go on top. Bit of a missile firing mechanism there. I don't know that it will actually fire missiles, but it sure looks cool. And then showing off the turret that you can pop on top of here. He said depending on how this thing costs out, that it might be that the Vanguard itself is sold on its own, and then each of these turrets and everything might be sold as separate gear packs for the Vanguard. So there's that, but that's wholly dependent on how it all costs out. Then showing off kind of the size of the missile launcher, showing how the interior is actually modeled after the actual Rezvani vehicle. And you've got more going on here, just more detail. He brought up the fact that these doors, this is 2 doors he said, will be able to be opened and they'll sit flush against the side of the vehicle, which is something he thought was cool because that way doors aren't getting in the way. You can also remove the doors from the vehicle to give it more of a sort of a Humvee type look, what you see from time to time in those. It'll also make it easier for photos to happen. Then showing the bottom, he did mention also that the tires will be rubber and that there will be a winch at the front. And then they teased this, kind of a CIA sort of feel to the whole deal. We don't know anything more than what this video showed, which was basically the image that you have in front of you. Then he talked about the Crimson Shadow Praetorian. And this is something that is wholly new for Action Force. Up till now, they've done all human characters, and this is an android character. He said that those shields, the reason they're there is it's meant to simulate if you're shooting at this character, it just has automatic shields that just pop up to block the bullets, and you can plug these in the back as well. You can plug them on the shoulders and the forearms. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I think that's the main thing. He is one of the Crimson Shadows, which are, and this is stuff I'm learning as I go along here because I just don't know tons about it. The Crimson Shadows are the arms dealers in this universe. So why wouldn't the arms dealers have the most advanced type of security? So that's where the Praetorian comes in. And that was it. And here's the Desert and Riot Troopers again. So let's look at the Praetorian. Anyway, one other thing that he mentioned that I forgot to bring up is that the prices will not be going up this year. And he doesn't see the prices going up in the foreseeable future unless they absolutely must. And that was the recap of what actually went on for ValaFest. So, truth be told, I went into this whole weekend, this whole ValaFair experience, thinking to myself, well, this is a perfectly passable waste of time. I have my box of Kleenex, I have my tea, I'm just going to sit on the couch, chill, try and give myself some rest and see what happens with this. But then they start right off showing emotive faces, and I'm going, ooh, that kind of goes after my photography-loving heart. That's kind of cool. But, that's cool, but I don't know anything about Action Force. And then they show off, hey, here's a book that's going to collect the first 8 issues of the Action Force comic. And I'm like, oh, I guess I could find out pretty easily what Action Force is all about. But I thought, no. Doesn't matter. It's not like I have the leaders anyway. Like all those figures from Series 1, I'm not going back on the secondary market and spending that kind of money to get those. I'm good. I don't need to get into this line. And then they show that they're going to reissue those figures. And suddenly I realize I'm running out of excuses. And I'm like, okay. But But, now, hear me out here. Here's the thing. I could get the issues. I could get the leaders. The emotive faces are very cool. But I like a little bit of sci-fi thrown into my military. I don't like total real world. That just feels too real world for my action figures. And then the Praetorian gets shown off. And suddenly I realize I'm out of excuses. I have to get into Action Force. Oh, I thought I could just get away with Duster. Very cool figure, and he feels solid, and I like all the options, and he's got the two heads, and what took me so long to get into this, really, is kind of what I'm thinking. But during this stream, even though I was sitting there thinking I don't want to get all in on this, I was thinking Eclipse is kind of cool. I've been looking at that figure, thinking there's some color there, that's kind of a cool figure. And as soon as the first night they start announcing that Eclipse is practically sold out, I got on during the stream and ordered her because I had been on the fence as it was about her specifically, and then they were showing all the other stuff, and well, Eclipse is already on the way, so I'm recording this on a Monday, and I ordered that on a Friday. Yeah, I'm in on Action Force now. Oh dear, I gotta say, I don't know what's going to happen with Toypixx. And whoa, I don't mean that like the Toypixx channel is going away or anything. This isn't like a doom and gloom thing. I just mean, is the YouTube channel going to take off? Is social media going to take off and go nuts? Am I going to start making money via the website? Or is money going to start coming in based on me doing contract figure photography? I don't know, but what I do know is I've got Mafex figures that I love to shoot. I've got SH Figuarts figures that I love to shoot. I've got Plunderlings out there that I love to shoot. I have Animal Warriors of the Kingdom that I'm paying attention to, and Savage Crucible, and looking forward to the Jada Toys Street Fighter line, and something else that I'm relatively confident I'm going to start picking a ton up of and love shooting. These guys right here. And I may be late to the party, but I'm hoping it's fashionably late, like where the cheese dip starts to kind of harden a little bit just on the top. Anyway, that's kind of a gross visual for everybody. So, what's your experience with Action Force? Do you dig it? Comment, let me know. Let me know the best figures in your collection. What figures you recommend me picking up? Because, like I say, guys, that's what I got, and I've got Eclipse on the way, so I need to know things. Fill me in the comments. And until next time, have fun and happy snapping. And don't forget to stick around to see pics of that guy right there. See ya.